Howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. We've talked about a lot of controversial things in these videos. This may prove to be the most controversial of all. I've been asked to do this at least 40 times. I put it off and put it off because it's a very in-depth subject and it's been ruined by talking points on both sides. So many talking points that nobody's talking about it. We're going to talk about guns. We're going to talk about guns. We're going to talk about gun control, the good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to talk about the Second Amendment. We're going to talk about school shootings. And right now, there's a whole bunch of people out there that are pro-gun that are like, oh yeah, Hillbilly is about to school these liberals on guns. I am. I'm definitely going to educate them. But I'm going to educate them with the intent of them using that education to hopefully come up with some gun control that makes sense. Now you're mad. And that's okay, because your Second Amendment, that sacred Second Amendment, we're going to talk about that too. And we're going to talk about the fact that odds are, if you constantly describe yourself as a law-abiding gun owner, you're probably part of the problem. So, 3 types of people in the world: pro-gun, anti-gun, and those who understand how firearms work. So we are going to talk about firearms. We're going to use an example that everybody in the United States knows. One gun that everybody knows because the media won't shut up about it. We're going to talk about the AR-15. Now this is a toy. I bought this at Dollar General yesterday when I tried to film this video the first time. It got so long that even I didn't want to watch it. That's why we're doing it in sections. So, the reason I bought it is because, one, it looks just like it. I mean, it's accurate. It's scary accurate. Even more scary, everything works. The magazine release, the selector switch, I mean, the charging handle, the forward assist. I mean, it's even got the bolt release on it. I mean, there's no bolt inside, but it's there. I mean, this is amazing. A little small, but extremely accurate representation. So, it's the AR-15 or is it the M16? You can't tell, really, by looking at it. They look the same. They really do. In fact, if you were to walk into a gun store, hand one, odds are the guy's going to have to look right here, right at the receiver at the selector switch, to see what it is. But there's an audible difference between the two. The AR-15, which is the civilian one, sounds like this. That's fast, and you can get rounds off that fast in real life. That is fast. The M16, the military version, sounds like this. That's a whole lot faster. Has a cyclic rate of 700 to 950 rounds a minute. That's a lot of bullets. So, what makes it special? I mean, it's a military weapon. Even the civilian one is based on a military design, therefore it's high-powered, right? No, not at all. This is actually low power, low intermediate is what I would classify it as. Most gun sites will tell you that it's a varmint gun, but in reality, the bullet 223 is a varmint round. It's low intermediate. It's not really low. Bo, that doesn't make any sense. Why on earth would the Army want a low-powered rifle? They didn't. Army didn't want this. They were forced to take it by some bean counters in DOD up at the Pentagon. See, what happened was these guys got together and they figured if they made the bullets smaller, you could fit more in the magazine. Therefore, you could shoot more in between changing magazines, kill more of the bad guy faster, therefore win the war faster. And that makes sense if you have never shot at anybody and never changed a magazine. That makes sense if you have. Okay, so if it's not high-powered, it must be high-tech. That's why the military wanted it. That's why DOD wanted it. No. When Eugene Stoner designed this thing, put it together, he designed it to be used by the dumbest 17-year-old kid you know. And that's not a joke. Really one of his goals. I want you to think about everybody who joins the Army. They're not all geniuses. but every E1 in the world knows how to use this. So it's not high tech. It's not high powered. Why is it so special? It's not. That's the point. There's nothing special about this thing. You talk to most serious shooters, nobody's going to point to this thing as like some great crowning achievement. It's decent. It's a very great generic basic rifle. It's modular. That's cool. It's got a lot of variations. Well, if it's not that great, why does it get used in all these school shootings and all these mass shootings? It doesn't. It doesn't, not in real life. The problem is the media can't identify firearms. They think anything with a magazine well, a pistol grip, and a magazine is an AR-15, especially if it's black. So they say that in the initial reporting, and then, by the time they correct it, it doesn't matter. So it seems like this is what's always used. That's not really the case. But it gets used often enough for this to be the example of what we're talking about. Why? Why does it get used more than most? Because it's popular. Not just with mass shooters, but with everybody. This is the most popular rifle in the United States. Why? For the same reasons we just said. It's simple. It's low power, so it has low recoil. Anybody can use it. But then there's another reason that civilians like it. There's two, really. One is really smart, and one is really stupid. The stupid reason is a bunch of guys want to get it, post their photo on Facebook like this. I got the same gun the Army has. No, you don't. You got one that looks like it. The smart reason is that because they're very similar, except in here, except in the engine, a lot of parts are interchangeable, which means they're cheap because the Army's producing it. An M16 magazine will slide into an AR-15. The stock, all the furniture, that's the plastic pieces, the barrels, everything pretty much is interchangeable with the exception of the stuff inside the receiver, the stuff that makes it full auto. That's the only thing that isn't interchangeable between it. An AR-15 is a semi-automatic rifle. Now, I want you to pull up right now, go to Google Images, type in Mini 14 Ranch Rifle. You're going to look at that, you're going to say, that's a hunting rifle. And it is. It's a varmint rifle. Look at the caliber. .223. Same thing. Rate of fire, same as the AR-15. Everything is the same. Everything. This has been villainized because of the way it looks, partly, and because it gets used in these school shootings and in these mass shootings a decent amount. Not as much as the media says, but certainly more than a Mini 14. But it's just because it's more popular. It's more popular because basically any gun owner that has more than 2 guns, they've got one of these. Therefore, when some kid wants to shoot up a school, guess what's sitting in Dad's gun cabinet? One of these. It's that idea to mimic the military. It's that idea, and this is a big part of it we're going to get into later. It's that idea that this is important. So, how does it work? On the inside, this is a magazine. Okay? Bullets are inside this box. As the bolt goes back and forth, it picks up another one, puts it in the chamber. When you pull the trigger, little pin comes forward, hits it, sends it down the barrel. That's how it works. There's nothing different between the AR-15 and every other semi-automatic rifle designed in the last 100 years. They've been around forever. They have been around forever. That's important because it's not the design of this thing that makes people kill. A fairly recent problem, it's probably not this. But there's some things we can do to mitigate, and that's what we're going to talk about in the next video. I know this one was kind of boring, but you need this base of knowledge to understand what we're going to talk about next. Okay, sorry for the boring video, but y'all have a good night.